the melody of your destruction. Let no joyful voice be heard. Let no man look up at the sky with hope. And let this day be cursed by we who ready to wait. The Krackin!
Release the Krackin!
Hey, look, it's the Krackin!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Just Krackin. I'm your host Dix and my co-host Jax. Today we got a special guest Zach in the house, and we're going to be doing a full spoiler review of
Excellent. Cyrax. Sector. Smoke. Motaro. Jade. Kitana. Scorpion. Sub-Zero. Soma. Jax. Marina. Johnny Cage. Raiden. Kung Lao. Reptile. Come on.
In terms of Mortal Kombat, let me ask you something, Zach.
Go for it.
Were you entertained? First off, this is the first question I have to ask you. Were you entertained as far as the
before we
movie
go
goes?
picking the movie
Before
completely apart and destroying it or anything like
Completely,
that.
Yeah.
If you were not as big as a Mortal Kombat fan as you are, would you recommend this one to just the average Joe down the street?
100%. I feel like a lot of people and the critics that are people that are going all over Facebook and trying to tear shit apart are just being fucking negative Nancy's. I mean,
They're jaded.
the acting wasn't exactly, this isn't a fucking, Golden Globes nominee.
Yeah, we're not doing Hamilton.
I'm not looking for an Emmy. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you right now that 110%, I feel that this movie was done in a great way. I feel that the graphics and the fight scenes and the effort that was put into some, and we've already gone on to this personal conversations, 50-50. Some of the storyline was really well respected.
Yeah, really good.
And I definitely feel like, Goro doesn't look like a crackhead chick that shaved the side of her head off.
Yeah.
So, it makes a main aspect of just bringing in a better vision towards this movie, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next.
Yeah, me too. even though we didn't really need the character that they introduced in here.
Okay. Hold on. Let's step back for a second before we go into that. Let's just start from the beginning. Let's go from the very beginning to that first fight, Sub-Zero versus Scorpion.
So, what I can get out of this is a main aspect where they really respected the storyline. You know, Sub-Zero comes in and wants to kill off the Shaolin Ryu clan. You know, he's coming in and they got this massive beef between Lin Kuei and the Shaolin Ryu, and I feel like they respected it a lot, man. I feel like he came in as a straight up savage, and that was the main aspect about the first Sub-Zero, and I want to point that out hardcore, is because the very first Sub-Zero, when he actually comes in and does what he's doing, this dude is fighting with no honor. This dude is just straight up bloodthirsty. And, you know, it was proven, even though certain aspects, if you follow other storylines, you know, no matter what, the first Sub-Zero was a brutal dude. And the beef between them both of killing Scorpion's family and everything else was really, really good and really well followed. I'm going to add up, though, to the portion of adding in a new bloodline. I mean, it caught me for a loop.
Caught you off guard.
It was good. It was a good hook to try to hook us into a more scenario. But as soon as that baby was rescued and as soon as that happened, I knew that we were going to be popping off with
Something different.
The new character that a lot of other people are kind of complaining about.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's roll right into that. Cole, the self-insert. I guess not self-insert. He's just an insert character with an insert storyline.
Oh God, Iron Man from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Iron Man from Mortal
Well,
Kombat.
Hold on a second. Mortal Kombat's always been about new characters. So like, even though it's not necessarily keeping to the same storyline, is a new character necessarily a bad thing?
No, I agree with you on that aspect. Absolutely. I mean, adding a new character, but like having
we're going to end up seeing him in the next video game. Like,
yeah, he's probably going to be the next video game. Yeah, definitely, or a DLC in the game.
At the very least, yeah.
I feel that no matter what, he was a good hook, but. I mean,
there were certain aspects.
There was a lot of aspects that it seems like it was scraped together, bro. Like, let's be really honest.
Yeah, it seemed like right there, especially at the end of his storyline and all that, like the ending, basically ending of the movie. It seemed like they were just sort of like, you guys can put it all together at this point. Go ahead and roll the fight scene.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that Cole was. I mean, let's take a look at the aspect just at the beginning of the movie. When we're actually describing the new character, Cole, right? Cole? Mm-hmm. When we're actually describing this dude, I'm going to tell you right now, his first main fight scene, he comes in and he just gets the shit beat out of him. And you're telling me right now that this dude...
Talking about the cage fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes into this aspect and can't beat a simple cage fighter. You're going to tell me this dude's going to come in later on and beat the shit out of Goro or help Sub-Zero kill Scorpion?
Yeah, help Scorpion kill Sub-Zero.
A little big, but still, like, you're telling me out of this decades of hundreds of years beef and how everything else went down, you're going to tell me this dude, now Scorpion, needs this random dude's help when he wasn't beating a random, like, street fighter off the block?
Yeah, it was a little bit harder pill to swallow right there. Especially when you put it that way. Yeah. I really didn't actually look at it that way because, I mean, I did kind of see... So, like, they show aspects in the movie about how he was, like, a actual good fighter at one point in time. But, like, the one thing that they really did focus on...
They actually bragged about it.
Yeah. They talked about it at the very beginning. But, like, the thing that it seemed like he did is he just sort of gave up on the aspect of becoming a good fighter, or something happened in his past that they didn't really divulge on.
Right.
And that, I think, is where the story takes a real dive, because you're going to introduce a new character, flesh him out. Right. Especially because we already know the rest of the other characters. We know who Liu Kang is. We know who Sonya Blade is. We know who most of these other characters are. The guy with the hammer, totally new to me. I have no idea who that dude is. Absolutely, 100%.
There was a few of them. The ones... I wasn't
sure. The bat creature? Yeah, the bat chick. I don't know if she's... like an actual character?
She was actually a character that was first introduced into, if I'm thinking correctly, she was introduced either in MK4 or Deadly Alliance.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking.
She was supposed to be a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not Shang Tsung's little.
No,
Street
she was
pet.
more of what was called more of a like one of Shao Kahn's generals
Oh, okay.
and stuff like that. She wasn't actually supposed to be introduced just full fledged like that. That's actually a big issue that I have with a lot of stuff here in the movie now. Is I feel certain characters were rushed too far into the scenario and introduced too early.
Like Melina.
Yes, that is 110%.
It's like you introduce Melina before you introduce
Katana.
Katana.
They even gave a glimpse of Katana in the movie with her fan, but they acted like as if those were weapons of like fighters who had already died.
Yes, I saw the fans, and
I was like,
see, the main way that actually went down is that Shao Kahn came in and took over Outworld when Katana's father ruled.
Yeah,
and he came in, killed the father, took the mom, kept the mom and the daughter, and which is Shiva, the Scream chick.
Yeah,
if they're not one of my most favorite characters, I pretty much don't care about.
Because actually, the story that he's talking about was done in Legacy.
It was done in Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he came in, executed Dad, made her his wife, and kept Katana as a daughter. Katana was always, for the longest time, she was raised at a very young age that Shao Kahn was her dad. She didn't actually know much of difference.
Okay.
And then she ended up finding out later on that Shao Kahn did what he did. And that's when sooner or later she kind of transitioned over to helping Earthrealm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, so within her rebellion of pretty much just here and there, it could be anything from helping Earthrealm to just undermining Shao Kahn individually. You know what I mean? She was just getting on his last fucking nerve.
Okay.
And he went out and had a clone of Katana made that actually ended up having Tarkatan DNA, which is Baraka.
Oh, okay.
The other later character.
That's why she got
That's
the
why
mouth.
her fucking face is so messed
See,
up.
and like that, the thing is that like even like don't get me wrong, I think the character was done like good, but like not good enough for them to keep that mask off of her. They should have just left the mask because like it didn't even look like she like actually had that. Because in the game she has this like huge Joker-esque smile and shit all the time. Like her teeth are always out. Like Baracus's are always out. They're always like ah.
To tell the truth, though, there's actually different versions and scenarios of opinion.
Oh, okay.
There's when it comes to Melina, there was a couple different versions to where, you know, obviously in like MK3 and shit like that, her mask never came off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once we got into Deadly Alliance,
Except for like fatalities.
yes.
Yes.
And then once we got into Deadly Alliance and some of the newer remakes that came out on Xbox and PS2, that's when shit really started revealing. And there was different games and different scenarios that you could take, and there's different costumes for it that you can even just following the storyline all the way from Deadly Alliance to MK11. There's times where her teeth are dramatically a little bit smaller. It's not as extreme of a look. And then you look at some of the earlier versions, she's got these venom teeth that are popping out of her cheeks.
Yeah, that's the version I know. That's why I was like, that's why she wore the veil, is because, like...
That's mainly why she wore it, though, was because she was supposed to be portrayed as a beautiful clone of Katana. She was a princess. So she wore the veil because the only thing that actually separated her from the aspect was
her
the
face.
Tarkatan mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Well... that settles that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it also due to the separation of her. There was a short scene though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the one time, like all the way up until the end, where she's about ready to like do her crazy
like devour dude. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
almost,
and like she bites down onto his like his Iron Man armor and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, that don't hurt."
Right, and you see her cheeks.
Yeah, it's like separate and stuff, like
stuff.
like a snake.
That was more of the kind of like subtle scenarios, is what I'm kind of like envisioning in my head. Would be more of the subtle scenarios, because I mean, like I said, in a lot of them, they were just like, dude, those were out there.
Yeah, they were
like,
very
they were
visible,
unavoidable.
Yeah,
you know,
the veil wasn't really even.
It was
helping.
like the chick in Deuce Bigelow that wore the sheath to hide the dick on her face. It was just super out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, that's a dick on your face.
Well, I mean,
that
you
is.
know, there's no getting around what the fuck is going on there. So,
One of the other things that like really kind of stuck out was the aspects of how people got their powers. Obviously, in the games, they were just born with their powers. They could just do their thing. Like it's
I
like
think it had to do with like chi and stuff, didn't it? Like that was the
They never really-
impression that I had gotten.
I'm pretty sure even in the first Mortal Kombat movies, they were actually chosen champions through Raiden.
Right.
And he would filter through and fucking choose champions. And the main characters of the Jax even didn't actually come in till later.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up being the partner of Sonya and shit like that, but he didn't actually come in until like MK2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was a little extra thing on MK1.
Yeah, like you could like do something and he'll like pop up.
No, I don't
or
think he
something
was
like that.
even an extra on MK1.
Pretty sure
On
he was a
MK1,
thing
it was
that popped out.
He wasn't like an extra. He was like if you hit somebody,
You know how,
like he'd pop
the
out.
toasty
And,
guy.
Oh, yeah,
like
okay.
the toasty guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was before the.
But like
toasty
it was
guy.
like Jax.
The dude because of whoopsie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as actually if you did something with Sonya, he like popped out of the corner and he was holding up like I heart
Yeah,
Sonya.
that's
Yes,
right. That's
no,
right.
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, it was a teammate scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Jax actually wasn't even introduced until MK2 or so as a full playable character.
Yeah.
And he ended up being the partner of Sonya Blade. Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage. These were some of the original three. And then, of course, Kung Lao and characters like that were supposed to be original Chosens and came into the backstory like that when Deadly Alliance and shit like that are the remakes that actually brought out the backstories. Because if anybody actually remembers properly that any of the fucking games that came out through Sega to all the way to PS1 from MK1 to 4, this was about blood and gore, fighting your towers. You got your credits, you won your game, wham bam, thank you ma'am. That's what it was. There was no actual backstories explaining anything.
Yeah, it was just like you're in a tournament, you're fighting for this.
These
if
are
you
your
lose,
characters, this is your power, pick your favorite and beat some ass. So.
And even like back then, like nobody even really knew who was actually the good guys. I mean, you kind of like figured that Sonya and Liu Kang were the good guys, but even like you had questionable characters like Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
It would take you through a little bit of a walkthrough with that kind of, but I mean, yeah, it would be mainly off assumption.
Yeah, it's just like, this guy looks like he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He must be a bad guy.
Exactly.
And obviously, the main bad guy, the one that you had to fight at the end, obviously he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he's the head bad guy.
Goro's a bad guy.
Shang Tsung and Goro were always the main two and the top of the
But
first
everybody
tower.
else is like, who's fighting for who?
What
Right.
does what? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, it kind of veered off the topic there about the how they got their power. So yeah, like
Well,
they
but
never
yeah,
really
they were,
explained how they got their powers.
They were originally chosen champions, but then they kept to the chosen part, but it was more of chance through skill.
Okay.
And it seemed like pretty much if you had this top-notch skill, you were branded with the mark to come to the tournament.
Let's see. I mean, like so what was it? Jax got it from killing somebody, didn't he? Didn't he get it from?
No, that was Sonya.
Okay.
Sonya took
Kano
yeah,
got
Kano's
it from.
mark.
Kano. Okay, no.
Kano
in the
got
movie,
it from killing
in the movie,
somebody.
everybody except for Cole got their mark from killing somebody who had it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole was the only one in the entire movie that was born with the mark, which I actually brought up a very, very good point. They never actually divulged on who this kid is that he had. Is that his stepdaughter or something like that? Because why doesn't she have the mark? And how does his mark pass down? Is it he died, so instead of it going to the person who killed him or whatever, does it just go down to his daughter?
Well, it was supposed to be passed down through bloodline. Is what I'm getting at because he was obviously a descendant
from Scorpion.
From Scorpion.
So yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is they don't explain why doesn't the daughter have to fear for her life? Is she not his biological daughter? Like I said, they left this huge gap with this family aspect of the movie.
I think the simple fact that he's the actual carrier of the mark is what makes him the target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure if he were to have gotten killed off and the mark got passed down, then yeah, that would kind of...
But he had it since birth.
But he had it since birth.
Yeah, so that's why I raised the question because was it like his dad had it and then his dad died of natural causes or some shit like that? And what if you got hit by a car? Does the guy who's driving the car get the mark all of a sudden? What are the rules with this? Yeah, what is the rules with this?
It's gonna be an awkward day when Kyle, the bus driver, shows.
He's like, all right, guys.
I thought this was stop number 9. I don't know.
Deadpool 2, just some random fucking guy.
I'm Steve. I showed up. I saw the flyer. Got the mark. How'd you get your mark?
I heard there's got the most badass intro music on the whole scenario too. The whole time.
Yeah, it was just the mark thing kind of threw me off, especially because we all grew up with the whole we know that Raiden is the one who comes around and says, hey, you're going to be fighting for us.
These are my champions.
Yeah.
And he would always say in the movies, these are my champions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
See, I was willing to accept the idea that Raiden endowed them with these abilities.
The ability, their abilities.
And then with Jax, okay, so Kano, it manifests as a laser eye.
Yeah,
Liu Kang gets fireballs.
Why is it only just one eye? Why isn't it both eyes?
Well, actually, in some of the original games, he had the steel plate.
Yeah.
From a replacement or whatever, some type of injury.
Which is the reason why we assumed that when he got offed with the fucking gnome, he's gonna come back with a metal
plate on his face, still able to use.
That's when he got scraped up from the lizard dude.
Yeah,
I was supposed to. A lot of people are assuming that's Reptile, and I'm also.
They never called him Reptile.
Exactly. He was never actually called Reptile, so I'm a little kind of sketchy on that, portion of the chapter too. Yeah. But he developed the laser eye. But anybody that was actually really good with Kano, or anybody that actually was irritated fighting against Kano, because I'm telling you, I was one of them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It wasn't the laser eye that you had to worry about. It was the weird somersault fucking bomb that he turned into this ball and somersault into your face, and it was the worst possible move ever. Especially into the newer games, he's just busting out these massive combos and then knocking you on your ass, doing some weird, stupid, cheap somersault trick.
He never once
not
did that in the movie.
No,
maybe in the sequel. Maybe we'll get it in the sequel. Maybe he hasn't figured out how to do that movie. Technically, what they're explaining in this movie is that it wasn't even the tournament. They just kind of made their own.
Yeah, they kind of yes and no, because towards the end of the movie, technically it was the tournament, wasn't it?
No. So basically, they were sending the champions. Shang Tsung sent his champions in to kill the champions before the tournament. This was supposed to be the lead up. Even in a lot of the critics are actually saying we might not even see the tournament until either the end in going into the second movie, by the end of the second movie going into the tournament, or maybe even just going into the lead into the beginning of the third. And they're saying just this is the whole build up. You know what I mean? Because if you actually
some sort of end game scenario, they're just trying to build it up.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, even if you were paying attention at the very end, did you see the flyer?
Yeah, for Johnny Cage.
You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden he's going to go in and somehow now Johnny Cage needs to be recruited. But I mean, as an original champion, that bugs me.
Yeah. It does. The lineup. Yeah, let's talk about the lineup a little bit because they had characters from Mortal Kombat 3. Again, this Hammer dude I've never seen, so I'm guessing he's from 10 and 11 or something because
I've never seen him.
Yeah, I've never seen the Hammer guy.
I don't know. I think I'm drawing a blank. I don't know which one's the Hammer guy.
The Hammer guy is the dude that Jax fought against at the end of the movie when he when he did his sick fatality where he did the thunderclap on him.
Right. No.
It's General Raikou or something like that or something. I think his name is.
What they called him.
It's very
I just know I was I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. It was I just kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to look stupid. I was I don't know who he is.
I have no idea who that guy is whatsoever. But yeah, the lineup was really strange, and Again, we get like
Cabal.
a weird. Yeah, we get like a Cabal who
wasn't even until like
Mortal Kombat 3.
Mortal Kombat 3, yeah.
See, Cabal was actually, he didn't get introduced in MK3, but if you actually played with Cabal and caught actual Cabal's story timeline, like his backstory, he was actually a member of the Red Dragon.
Yeah,
with Kano.
With Kano,
stuff like that.
That's how they knew each other in the movie.
Yeah, and he ended up getting burned alive and betrayed by Kano. So I mean, the fact that they've actually been worked together in the past makes a little bit of sense that you could introduce this person earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, as some type of character.
Yeah,
but
it's a little bit more
honestly, that's
understandable.
the only one in my mind that really like makes sense.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, the movie. The thing that I like the most about the movie is really the choreography. The actors that
the guy that we're talking about, General Raiko.
Raiko.
Yeah. He doesn't exist in the game.
He doesn't exist in the game. So like,
no. As far at least this is what it's showing me because it's showing.
But it's not like they never did that before. They did that in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Like 2 characters that they had that were just like.
And
well, 3 characters actually because
they were random fill-ins.
Yeah, random fill-ins.
The Bat Lady is Nitara.
Nitara.
And yeah, she's a vampire. She is a real she is an actual character. She is really in this. Yeah.
She was only a very short time lived character. And I thought it was really cool that they actually brought in this one short time lived scenario as a Shao Kahn general.
And then they cut her in fucking half.
Give
That's
them
right.
the flop. So like
that was the freshest fatality.
Yeah, that was probably
fucking real.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But then they follow up with like again, like one of the worst things that they could possibly do is they just immediately go and kill. Like they're like, okay, he killed off this one, so now we got to kill off him.
See, and that's another thing. Like that's another issue that I have with storyline following. You know what I mean? Kung Lao was killed in tournament. Goro was killed in tournament. Like Kano.
Didn't they have a female Goro?
A female Goro. No, Shira.
Yeah.
Shira or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, she was basically the same concept, just woman style.
Yeah, so we could see like just her as a fill-in. That could be what they were trying to lean into.
She was in Mortal Kombat, the second movie,
yeah,
Annihilation.
Yeah,
and she was one of Shao Kahn's generals, and I'm pretty sure it was Shao Kahn's generals in that movie was Minotauro, Shiva, Ermac, Rain.
Yeah,
I would love to see a Minotauro.
Baraka was in that.
Yeah,
he was in that good scene where Liu Kang had to fight him in the chains and stuff like that. You could tell the mask was way too big for the actor and shit like that. You know what I mean? Just the cheesiness of all the fucking other older movies.
That movie was even cheesier than the first one.
The second movie was terrible. Like, let's be real. It was terribly amazing, though. Like, I fucking love Annihilation.
Yeah, as a kid, definitely growing up, when I saw that, I was like, yes, this is Mortal Kombat.
Gives me everything I ever wanted.
Everything.
Dude, when Jax uppercuts Minotauro and just drops him, I was stoked. Like, bro, yes.
Okay, so yeah, that character in that happens to be a real storyline too that they follow, because most people know Jax as those arms are like, you know, in this movie they're presented that his arms are taken off and then they hook up cybernetic enhancements. That's the first time they've ever actually portrayed that storyline where he was just wearing a cybernetic enhancement over his arms.
See, yeah, and that was the one big thing that they actually brought into, like, it was just mechanic enhancements.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then I think because Jax's story was kind of always flip flopped, you know what I mean. There was always force of opinion. Are they enhancements? Did he lose his arms? You know, this and that, and then. I mean, Annihilation happened. They tried to follow with it. That movie flopped.
Yeah.
Hard as shit. You know what I mean? As great as we could say it was, fuck, that movie flopped so hard. So they weren't going to follow with that storyline. You know, and fuck, dude, we're Mortal Kombat. Might as well go with the goriest option. You got that shit ripped off in battle.
Yeah.
and he slapped some fucking robot arms on and started beating
My
the shit
issue
out of people.
is that for some reason, and it had to do with their little Arcana bullshit
superpower,
payoff. Yeah, so it's like
which we
we
still
don't-
haven't
we don't
really
wanna-
actually touched down on.
it's like somehow these monks have this, low tech arms that they can hook up for him.
But
But
he's
he's got
still
him
somehow better than like modern day technology. Like
Yeah.
they like somehow these like hole in the wall monks have mastered cybernetics technology, at least to the form where he could, move his own hands and stuff like that, and had some kind of sensory.
But my issue is that they did both. They did like this concept is like, we're not going to give you your full arms. You're going to have to give them to yourself somehow
But
through
then
magic.
He kind of got him through the confidence of himself as too. You know what I mean? Because
I get it. I get the character arc as to what they were going for, but
like,
it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it just
well,
didn't.
if you check this out though, this is actually exactly opposite from Annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you remember in Annihilation, the big battle up on the mountain right before Shao Kahn and fucking Liu Kang fucking go into dragon mode. Jax, was told through the whole movie by Raiden that
he didn't need those.
Didn't need those arms.
Yeah,
the strength is within you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this was like one kind of like those kid life lessons.
Yeah, no, I get what they were going for.
This was kind of opposite, but same scenario. You don't
Same
have
concept.
the arms to tear off because you ain't got no fucking arms, bud. But believe in yourself, and they might turn into Transformers. I don't fucking.
Yeah, all of a sudden you get Transformer arms.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they build more metal fresh out of fucking like apartment wind out of nowhere. I don't know.
Yeah, when you believe in yourself, you get Transformer arms and Iron Man armor.
Yes,
that's what happens.
Yes,
that's what you take away from Mortal Kombat
and cop nightsticks.
Yes, and baller ass
dual cop nightsticks, gold cop nightsticks.
Yeah,
but I mean,
just remember that, kids, when you're out there and you feel distraught, believe in yourself and Transformer arms.
I mean, there's
Iron Man
always
armor.
There's always a couple options. Either you can try to go for armor, or you can try to go Super Saiyan. Either way, you're gonna have to yell and believe in yourself a lot.
Yeah,
to try to get this to go down. But
so
I mean, like I said, there's a lot of different loopholes and stuff like that. But
it's the old storytelling plot, and we're like, how do you kill a vampire?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you? I kill a vampire however the fuck I want to kill a vampire.
Vampires don't exist.
Vampires don't exist.
You want.
You can kill them.
It's.
You can kill them with
but
light.
then again, I mean, four-armed men don't exist in Outworld. You know what I mean? And we're going on such an extravagant fucking craziness. I mean, we got different worlds and realms, and you got
it's their own little
it's like
MCU.
Mortal Kombat universe they're going on, the MKU.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was either Deadly Alliance or it was Deception, man, and it was. So you could either play the storyline, you could play your towers, and then there was an actual almost like a free roam map game that you can play as the secondary games, bro. And you can go around and earn extra fucking skins for characters and all kinds of other missions.
The cryptic.
No, the crypt was another scenario where you could go and unlock.
That was like Mortal Kombat 10, yeah.
But this was more like almost like think of Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse.
Oh, okay, so
you can free roam scenario of going and finding your missions, and you could go into
you're talking about Deception.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was Deception. Yeah. You can go into into fucking portals and travel through all the realms.
Yeah.
And do crazy side missions and shit. I thought that was the best shit. And they never followed up with it afterwards. And it fucking disappointed the shit out of me. It had so much dope ass effort.
So you think that's what the movies are going to be going? Like that's what they're kind of aiming in with these movies? That they're going to be bringing in all these different.
I think
universes.
Would they ever do a storyline like Deception in the movies?
The question is like
I don't know.
The question really is because it's Warner Brothers who owns
Armageddon
this.
After that,
because
with Deception you went to Onaga the Dragon King.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then Armageddon, you had that big fucking lava dude. I can't remember what he was called, but And then even in Armageddon, dude, Armageddon was fresh as fuck. You had so many different characters. You even had undead Liu Kang with chains connected to him, just beat the living fucking shit out of you with chain hooks. And that was when Raiden fully lost it and betrayed fucking Liu Kang, and he died. And then they in the storyline somehow brought him back from the dead. Crazy Luke.
And then he becomes a god.
Then he becomes a god. Yeah, he becomes this crazy god thing, and it's like, dude, I didn't expect that. I'm not gonna lie, like for real. When I finally, because I of course.
Well, they're all like Dragon Ball Z did it, so why don't we?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. I of course, being the fucking Mortal Kombat fan that I am, bro. I got the Mortal Kombat dragon tattooed on my whole thigh, and I've been playing since Sega. Me and my little brother Nick, man, fucking Doc Gruesome Ill Tricks, shout out, check out Gruesome Graphics. Fucking, we've been playing it since it started. And once it really came down to fucking actually combining a scenario, and pretty much Liu Kang just went Super Saiyan over 9,000. It was fucking in pure insanity.
Yeah.
Into a complete fucking Elder God status almost, bro. I went and bought the $95 complete compact collector's edition.
Oh, wow.
As soon as it came out, and I had all the extra skins, I couldn't even make it through all the characters. I was balls deep in the storyline, and dude, when that happened, and Liu Kang just came out white-haired, fucking light up eyes, fire, lightning, power, fresh out the gate. Just, I wouldn't call it redwood, but at least a little mahogany. A
little mahogany.
Like it was limp and leading to the left, but it wasn't all the way limp. You know what I mean? Like I was excited.
Might have peed a little bit.
A little bit. You know what I mean? Just a quick drizzle. Like when you fucking leave the urinal at a concert, you didn't do no shakes. Just is what it is. You accept it and move on. You know what I mean?
It's running down my leg. It's okay.
It's fine.
This
is okay.
I'll take care of it when I get home.
I understand the scenario. The repercussions.
But see, like the issue I have with if they are going to plan on building a universe is that WB is in charge of this, and like, are we going to have the same scenario like with the Justice League and all that, where they're just going to try to rush to try to catch up to Marvel? And it's like you really don't have to.
Yeah.
Like especially with this IP itself. You don't have to rush it. You can build up to the I don't know anything
the
about
Dragon
it.
King.
Yeah,
whatever.
You can build up to these guys.
Is that the Thanos of the Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, the Thanos of Mortal Kombat
kind of.
or whatever.
I mean, you got Onaga, you got fucking and you got to remember too, like Onaga the Dragon King and fucking all these other characters, even the fucking main villain of the holder of time.
Mm-hmm.
I think
shit like that. Shit. These are all new villains.
Yeah.
The only other villain that they actually kept well to the storyline that is an older scenario is Shinnok.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Onaga the Dragon King and the fucking lava dude in Armageddon, and then they went DC versus Mortal Kombat, so that's not even a portion of the storyline. That's just
some random game they
Power
threw in
Man
there.
5000. This is what happens when worlds collide. Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they that was just fresh in itself. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. That game
that was fresh.
dope.
Game.
Yeah. And then they finally came out with Mortal Kombat the Complete Edition in MK, which is MK9, and that's when they really fucking started going hard and following more of the storyline. And then MKX happened, and now MK11. But you got to understand that this new villain, it's a new villain.
Yeah.
All of our storylines. Same with Onaga the Dragon King, and shit like that.
And with that new villain, you get all these other new lesser villains and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think any Mortal Kombat fan would be.
So they could build up. They could do like the MCU if they
Honestly,
started off
the way how slow they're building it though. Their Thanos is gonna be Shao Kahn, and all these other ones are just further down the line.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel that the fact that they actually bought the rights to MK to produce this movie and shit like that they wanted to put their own twist on these things.
Yeah.
But I also feel that these dudes are, the producers and everything else like that. You can't. They're not understanding how big the MK fan base is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the same with DC.
It's the same with
yeah.
DC and the same
Well,
with
they're
Marvel.
taking it like that though. Like they now, when they first released a couple of them, you know, they really saw how deep the comic book world ran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Fuck! Like if we just run with this correctly, bro, it's money in the bank all day."
Yeah, and see that's where Marvel went right. They
but
ran
I
with
think
it
they're
correctly.
going more for the public is what was going on with this. That's why they changed a little too much. They took out characters and didn't introduce them properly because they didn't really think it mattered because they didn't think the fan base ran as, I don't want to say as deep, but as dedicated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if we just throw this character in there, that's going to be acceptable. Fuck you. Cage should have been in, and Kano should have been a dick face later in the fucking scenario. Like, Kano should never have been a champion. Kano was never a champion, period. Kano was always a mercenary that ended up working for fucking Outworld, just to spite Sonya in the scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's how deep their hatred ran.
Yeah.
Wow.
Johnny Cage was always an original fucking champion, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He was always one of the first chosens, just from his obnoxious scenario that he still had skill.
What's actually very interesting about the Johnny Cage character is that his character is the only character that they made up for the storyline they made up for the movie is actually the only storyline that they carried over.
Yeah.
They were like, no, like the whole him being called a fake martial artist, that his acting is fake. He's just a fake guy.
No, Johnny Cage, they followed from point A to point B. Yes.
No, I know. Yeah. And
like he went through the whole scenario of losing like you can tell in the games. He's picking his cell phone out of empty pizza boxes, asking for advances from his producer because he's just kind of losing his shit from his movie career. He's got the skill.
He's basically like, I don't want to say Jean-Claude Van Damme is washed up, but he is Jean-Claude Van. He is based off of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
And his it's kind of reflecting
the character.
The character. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Maybe next thing you know, we're gonna find out that Johnny Cage saved us from like some weird mystical outworld invasion.
That was actually
Van Damme saved us from that.
That was Mortal Kombat 10, bro.
Yeah.
And it was his green flowy light.
Right.
And his daughter saved us, but it was still his fucking scenario. That was
Casey
MK10.
Cage.
Cassie Cage.
Yeah,
Cassie, yeah.
Cassie, yeah.
And she fucking, because she inherited that type of power from her dad, she was inevitable, and he was in turn inevitable to Shinnok's fucking power.
Now, let me ask, okay, not trying to bring up any kind of bad blood on this, but when they introduced that storyline, did that feel like that was a little agenda pushing?
What storyline?
The Cassie Cage storyline.
You know what? I feel like we've gone through so much of Sonya, Johnny, Jax,
the original,
weird love triangle thing. You know what I mean? Because we had the partner, and then we had the dude that was pretty much just the annoying scenario you knew she was gonna hook up with later.
Yeah.
That once they actually introduced Jackie and Cassie, I was kind of relieved.
Kind of just settled it.
It kind of just felt like that was an acceptable scenario because it wasn't just Jackie and Cassie though. It was also the two other characters, and I'm drawing a blank on their names right now, but it was Homeboy with the bow and Homeboy with the fucking whips.
Whips, yeah. And
they were both fucking descendants from other fucking fighters. So Homeboy with the bow and arrow was descendant from Kung Lao.
Okay, so
he was. I think he was his cousin.
Yeah, well, the only reason why I ask is because I remember when that game first came out, I had a friend of mine that was playing it, and he had mentioned something to me about it. Mainly because, at that point in time, there was the hardcore, like, feminist movement, basically. And it was like, he made a connection. And when I played it, I didn't really make that connection just because I had the same kind of, like, outlook as you. I was like, okay, I am kind of tired of Luke Cage and Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage and stuff like that. And yes, they do introduce new characters every time, but eventually those characters got to get old. eventually they've got to actually die and stay dead. Like,
well, I feel like this felt like more of a,
especially if you're telling a story.
yeah, especially if you're telling a story. Because one thing that they did push in this movie, which is weird as fuck, is how Sub-Zero is still alive even though he's not immortal. Like, there's no aspect, there was never anything that ever said that Sub-Zero was immortal. He's just some old, ancient, 100,000-year-old fucking samurai.
right.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. Even the games only present that there's only one guy who's actually immortal, and that's Shang Tsung, because he can steal life force and stuff like that. Like,
A lot of people kind of went off of that, though. A lot of people, from what I've seen off of the critics of scenarios, is that they're going off the fact that obviously, like, Shang Tsung's kind of like keeping him alive. And yeah, Shang Tsung has the ability to either take your soul or, I'm assuming, bring life back, because he hints at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've killed my champions, but that's not the end of my champions. Now, either that can mean he has more, meaning Ermac and Rain. And
yeah, he's got like a stockpile of goons in the back.
Or that means that he's going to fucking bring these motherfuckers back through Quan Chi's magic, because they're on the same fucking team anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But either way, the immortality factor, the only one that actually can fucking make them, like, obviously Quan Chi, but the main one out of these characters that can make themselves immortal is Shang Tsung.
Mm-hmm.
He absorbs the souls of fallen fighters.
Yeah, but they never divulged, like I said, they never actually told anything about how they were funneling power from him or anything like that.
Sub-Zero's just there.
Yeah,
and all
he's
of a
just
sudden
there.
he's super angry in armor.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah, they don't clarify. There's a lot of things that, and it's really hard, especially when you're doing something that you don't want to spend too much time on exposition. You don't want to spend too much time explaining to the people what's going on. You just kind of want to hope that they follow you.
Yeah, they follow the story, which I get, and sometimes it does work, but other times, like, especially when you have like a dedicated fan base and stuff, we're kind of like, there's loophole, there's these holes here that we need filled up. Like,
this is also a big portion of why people are saying it was rushed.
Yeah,
you know, just for the simple fact that
the story just wasn't
gaps.
completely fleshed out.
Massive chapters, it seems.
Just simply based off of recent events with via the Snyder Cut, you know damn well they probably had other
versions of it.
Yeah, other stuff that they either had filmed or had planned to film, but then they're all like, "Oh no, this is going to end up being too long." Yeah, like the thing about these studios is they're constantly worrying about length, and I kind of get it, but at the same time,
most people sat through Titanic. Most people sat through freaking Avatar. These movies came out in theaters. Yeah. So there's absolutely there's no way that they could look at it with a reasonable eye and be like, oh, they'll never sit through this.
Yeah, but then you got to look at the year gap between both those movies that you said, bro. Like Avatar was advertised as one of the biggest film breakthroughs.
Well, they were both made by the same guy.
And so Titanic was just going to be Titanic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was such a huge historical event that everybody was excited for it.
But that's what I'm trying to get at.
They were sit through a 4-hour-long movie.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to get through. You have a guy like James Cameron's name on it. It's associated with, this is probably going to be a long movie.
Yeah.
So be prepared. Most people, like Mortal Kombat, came out in theaters, but it also came out in streaming. Something that you can, again, pause, go get a snack, go take a piss, go take a shit, and come back and finish up what you're doing.
Unlike in the movie theater.
Yeah, unlike in the movie theater.
You basically have to hurry your ass up if you want more popcorn. Or hurry your ass up if you got to take a piss.
And it seems like they're actually more or less leaning on this streaming service crap, rather than trying to I don't know, indoctrinate or whatever. Get people back into the theaters.
If you look at some of the reports, though, HBO Max is supposed to stop streaming from within either late 2021 or 2022.
Oh, they're gonna cut it off.
They're not doing that no more because we're gonna fucking
go back.
Hopefully, going back to normality.
Go back to normality. Yeah, I hope that's true.
Yeah,
but as it stands right now, I don't see them actually like completely taking the streaming service off because
Oh no, the streaming service is staying up. They're just
It's
not
just
gonna.
they're
They're not
put the
gonna.
movies
Big
out.
Hood
As soon
the
as it
movies.
hits theaters, it's not streaming anymore. Like you have to go to the movies.
movie
now.
theaters and watch
Either
it.
that or they'll
Like wait a week or two.
No, well, I was thinking they may end up approaching it the way that Disney does it,
Or
where you have to pay
extra.
extra
Yeah.
to watch it.
Okay, I can see them doing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But still, like as it right now, like capitalize on the idea because right now with people being stuck at home and all this other, like we're not reopening for like another month. Like we're not going back to 100% for like another month. So that means for another month we're stuck either wearing masks, sitting next to each other, or sitting in front of my big ass TV and watching the movie.
Yeah.
So I would again capitalize on the idea that people are going to be stuck home for at least another month because we're one of like very few states that are opening up in a month. There's others like that are opening up in like 3 or 4 months,
or have been already,
or already have been
You know what I
opened
mean?
up.
But
yeah,
when it really comes down to it, I really think that this was a tester. Like I said, I don't feel like they actually established wholeheartedly how deep this fan base can run.
Okay.
This was more of like, we need to get it out there. This is a remake that's been asked for forever.
Dip our toes in the water.
This is going to be a moneymaker, but we need to see if we have the capability of fucking doing more. You know what I mean?
Like, is there going to be a demand for more of it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, as soon as fucking this shit came out, dude, if you've looked at the reports, Mortal Kombat has already beaten Godzilla versus Kong, and another one I can't remember. And Snyder Cut. It's already beaten in fucking box office numbers.
Well, the Snyder Cut wasn't released at box office.
No, I mean it's just the streaming service, or whatever.
In IMAX.
Yeah.
Was it in IMAX?
Certain IMAX theaters was showing.
Oh man,
just from the earnings of it though, from the streaming and shit, Mortal Kombat has topped both. You know what I mean? And as soon as they fucking released it, dude, just now, and it's only been released for like a week.
That always leads me up to the always question, like, why is it being rewatched so many times? Is it because people are trying to figure out what the hell is actually going on in the movie? Like,
or is it generally
like people are like, oh no, you have to sit down and watch this?
It seems to be 50-50. I see a lot of different criticism all over the net,
sort of split down the center
from people that just are just like, hey, like, I want to study what's going on and what I don't understand, and people are just like, dude, you have to watch this movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And like I said, this movie's only been out for a week or so, and they've already announced that they're continuing the trilogy.
Okay, so they've already announced they're going to be doing at least 3 movies.
Yeah. Well, the dude that played Sub-Zero has signed on for 5 movies.
For 5, yeah. I was told he was signed for 5.
So 4 other movies, and it's already been announced that he's going to be playing Noob in Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay, so they are sort of following the storyline that was set already.
You can tell that they're trying. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
At least they're trying. But I feel like this experimental scenario, they kind of
botched it at first because they were like, like even though we're
still
dipping our toes,
it still can be course corrected.
Yeah,
I feel like they dipped their toes in it and did it so rushed that they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the storyline. But I feel like they can
polish the turd up.
Bring it back.
They can polish.
They can limp.
Yeah.
They can limp across the. Okay. So
no. I guess that's it for the night, right, guys? I mean,
dude, you gotta also look at other critics too.
So we got more.
We got more going.
Oh, we got more.
There's so much more.
Let me just clarify on certain aspects.
I do want to ask a question. Like, who would you like to see other than like obviously Noob Saibot? We're gonna get in the second movie. Who else would we?
I want to see a better Liu Kang. I'm not gonna lie, guys. That was the one thing that bugged me the most about this movie.
He didn't seem very confident.
He didn't seem very confident. He was like scraggly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that my version of Liu Kang, because I saw the first 2 movies, is like a very beefy, macho-y kind of Liu
ready
Kang.
to kick ass.
Yeah, ready to kick ass.
And
but
it was
this
the
kid,
same character that killed it too in both movies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was the same actor that just fucking brutalized the role.
Yeah. So it was like when I saw this kid roll up on us, I was like,
But
okay.
this is actually
Can
paying
you scoot
more
to the
attention.
side?
This is
Yeah.
actually paying more attention to the storyline.
Mhm.
If you come in through, because like I said, within MK 1 through 3, you know what I mean, and up to 4 and shit like that, they didn't specify backstories.
Yeah.
Right.
And when they really started specifying it, you gotta understand, Liu Kang was a well-trained monk. He was ready to go. He was ready to fight, but he was constantly riding against Raiden, just like, bro, do you think I'm ready to slap in this? Do you think like I am?
So
this...
he wasn't. He was.
Wasn't
always
He was.
very
He never came in like, check it out. I'm gonna go see Shang Tsung. I'm gonna smack the taste out of his mouth. Like that's not how that went down. You know what I mean? Like he was pretty much on the aspect of check it out. Like I know I'm well trained, but do you think I'm ready for this? And Raiden was a big backbone to Liu Kang.
No, I get that, but it like this version seemed like it was more precedence on like the Kung Lao aspect because he seemed like he was riding like Kung Lao's coattails really hard.
Yeah.
Like Kung Lao would say something, he's all, you should listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You should do this. It was like, okay,
like he looked up to Kung Lao
like,
quite a bit.
but like way too hard, almost like it was.
So Kung Lao was actually an older student.
No, yeah,
of the Shaolin monks and stuff like that, and they were both kind of raised together. But I'm pretty sure, as it goes, that Kung Lao was actually older.
Yeah, and he's actually like more, from what I understand of it, like this, I guess, is where a good crossover happens between the movie and the games. Is that Kung Lao is like supposed to be the chosen one. That's why he's named Kung Lao, because there was another Kung Lao before him who actually won the tournament, and that they're like, okay, you are like the reincarnate version of him.
Yes.
And obviously he gets the soul sucked out of him.
No, actually he dies from he's supposed to die from Shao Kahn's hand.
Oh, okay.
And Kung Lao
Kung
Lao always, because Liu Kang, when he came into it, Liu Kang was the prophecy. You know what I mean? And Liu Kang kind of rode on it and questioned himself as it was, but Kung Lao felt like Kung Lao was the firecracker, man. He had all that to prove that he was supposed to be right there, if not ahead of Liu Kang.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
See, that's not that's kind of not like the thing I got from these two. It seemed like Kung Lao was sort of high on his own fucking his own essence.
Yes.
Sort of, and it was just like everybody's beneath me, including the guy that's supposed to be my brother, like is beneath me. Is that like the type of character that he was actually portrayed as?
He was, from what I can tell, at least from all the things that I've seen from the backstories, is that I don't know about the cockiness and that aspect, but I know that he was thinking that he should be top dog.
All right.
You know what
so
I
yeah,
mean?
he thought he should be.
He was like, Luke, like I said, Liu Kang's over here like, hey, bro, do you think I'm ready? I feel like I can do this, but do you think I'm ready? And Kung Lao got killed because Kung Lao was like, check it out. I'm supposed to be the chosen one. I fucking got this in the bag. And he went in there and got his neck snapped.
Okay.
And shit just fucking immediately went sour from there. You know what I mean? But, and this is what I mean, is a lot of some of these other critics that are going off of the net, I notice a lot of these other characters that are saying that they're hardcore fans. And then they try to come in with certain arguments, and it's like, bruh, do you even know what you just posted on the internet and why that looks retarded? Like, I got in a huge argument just last night. Me and my little brother, as I said, are both very big time fans. Been playing it since the beginning. And this dude came in like, check it out. Why, he was complaining that Noob wasn't in the first movie because they just announced him being in the second. And we were both like, well.
Oh, for those who don't know, Noob Saibot is a little backstory on this. Noob Saibot is the Sub-Zero that dies and then gets reincarnated. So when we say the guy Noob, that's who we're talking about as Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot is the very first Sub-Zero that actually, Bihan.
The one that was portrayed in this movie.
All this drama and everything else. He gets killed by Scorpion. He gets resurrected and fucking basically as a wraith through Quan Chi. Same basic fucking magic that brought Scorpion to make Scorpion. You know what I mean? And he was like, dude, I don't understand why you wouldn't add one of the best characters, Noob, in the first movie. And I was like, well,
Here's why you're
he's
dumb.
not dead yet.
Yeah, it's like, here's why you're dumb.
I was like, dude, check it out. And we got in this big ass argument for a little bit, and he tried to fucking come in with hardcore facts. Well, you need to pay attention to the backstory and look it up. And then when he posted it, it pretty much just proved that I was right. Yeah. And so I was like, check it out, dude. This is why you're retarded, and I can prove it mathematically. I have no problem fucking just arguing with you.
I could show you the receipts.
Right. I swear to God. And he got really upset. And then he pretty much started backtracking like, oh, well, I never paid attention to the newer games. I just played 1 through 3 in the arcade. And I was like, okay, so you've never seen a backstory in your life. Good to know that you have absolutely no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And he was like, dude, good to know that people that come up on the internet with their own opinions and do nothing but get berated and corrected real classy. And of course, being the petty fucking bitch that I am, I was just like, well, basically corrected is the main motherfucking word in the entire sentence you just gave me, player, because you came in here real hot with terrible facts, and I just let you know why you were wrong.
Super hot and bothered. He was like, I need to get this off my chest. Noob needs to be on here.
I usually end up blocked a lot, and let's just say blocked lives matter.
Like, fuck, a lot of people are just like, they're, what's the word? They aren't humble. They aren't willing to admit when they're wrong.
Yeah. I also think the fact that we're just getting an MK series, bro, like, dope. Yeah. We never thought we were ever gonna see this ever again.
Good movie. Especially after that. Especially after Annihilation's flop.
Oh my god! Like, and this has been a remake that's been talked about. Fuck, dude, I've been following it for the last 4 years.
So I was gonna say, because the guy who made Legacy was supposed to make a
They were planning on it, and then we had this crazy lineup of fucking Michael J. White playing Jax and. Megan Fox was going to be Katana, and all kinds of fucking dope-ass characters were supposed to do this other lineup, and then that just kind of fell off the face of the planet.
Well, I can see why Megan Fox didn't exactly play Katana, but Michael J. White playing Jax was awesome. I only got to see the pilot trailer or something that Jax over here showed me.
That was Legacy.
Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy.
Yeah, the short clip.
And it was dope.
Dude.
Especially the way he was just kicking the crap out of
He also did that short film, Rebirth, Mortal Kombat Rebirth.
Yes.
Which was not part of Legacy. It was just the pitch.
Some random thing, yeah. That was
he's got the martial arts and he's got the attitude to match what Jax is as a soldier. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And a lot of these other kids, dude, are coming in here with a big hype, having no idea what they're talking about on backstory, and it fucking kills me. And this is what I mean, though. This is what happens when you reach to the entire general public to try to build a universe, and you don't stick very well to the core basis of the fan base, and now all of a sudden you have to re-scrabble for what the fuck you got.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's the Justice League all over again. It's the whole DC universe all over again.
And I mean,
and it's I don't understand how they kind of didn't understand that the first time around especially when they were dealing with the DC universe.
Yeah,
it was like, dude. Again,
it's the same executives. It's the same people.
We get that same scenario where it's like comic book fans only even though there's a lot of us, generally there's only we only make up of 1% of the population.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, you're trying to reach.
It always seems like we're so many more in numbers, but really we're fucking not.
Yeah, we're 1%, and yes, you're trying to reach more people. The problem is that when you do that and you're not trying to reach the right people,
you end up alienating your target audience.
Yeah, you end
up target audience,
the 1% that you were trying to
please,
not even trying to please, the ones that you were just trying to get to come into the movies in general. You
guys also have to understand this in the within our pandemic and shit like that. They don't give a fuck if you buy this movie later, bro.
Yeah, I know.
This is reaching out as long as you're stoked and watch it once. and subscribe to my HBO Max or go see it in IMAX or whatever. As long as you fucking watch it once and put in that fucking number for that box office, bro, that's money in the pocket.
Yeah.
And
No, I
past
get
that, you can never watch it again. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but now a word from our sponsor. Hey guys, Dex here. Just want to say thanks for joining us on this special episode. We understand it's going on just a little bit longer than usual, so we decided we are going to break it down into 2 parts. Hope to see you guys there. Stay safe, everybody.